So, lads, today we're going to be talking a little bit about the Sophie Cunningham situation with the Indiana Fever. And I don't know what is happening here when it comes to Sophie. I think that there is probably a sub 50% chance that she stays because I don't think they can afford Sophie and Lexi. And if you want to see both of them back on the team, subscribe. We are trying to get to 58.4K by the end of the day. If we do that, that'd be absolutely incredible. Again, we are trying to hit 59K. We're trying to, if we can, 60K by the start of the season. I don't think we can, but we're trying to hit 58.4K. So we're 67 subscribers off because I will be live for all of free agency starting in about, it'll be probably 90 minutes from now until the deadline. So, yeah, it is a interesting one. But the reason why I'm saying it's likely we lose Sophie is because the Fever, unless the Fever wants to sign like a Beck Allen, a power forward. And to be honest, if Stephanie White's just bringing back the old crew, like Beck Allen could not, like, it's not a bad power forward. Like, she's not a bad power forward. I mean that. Like, she technically started Beck Allen at center in 2023 with Connecticut. So I don't think it's a bad shout. Like, at the same time, you've got her as a shooter who can play a little bit of defense. I wouldn't hate that move. But like, you need to make that type of a power forward signing to afford Sophie and Lexi. But the draft as well, it looks like they're not going to take a point guard because of the Ty Harris situation. As well as that, if you're not taking a point guard, there's no bigs. You're taking a wing. So you're taking one of Hakwes and Niepkins, who does the same thing as Hull and Sophie. And that's unless you're trading a pick. But also, there is a team just offered $900K a year to Naz Hillman off 5.5 points per game. Or sorry, I think she averaged 8 points per game last year. I think she averaged 8 points per game. Like this, I mean this when I say this. This is how irrelevant Naz Hillman is. Her picture on ESPN is Nia Coffey. It's not even her. Like, on Google, she averaged 8.6 points per game last year. On, I get it, she shot a few threes. She's only shot 32%. She's not the greatest rebounder. She's not the greatest defender in the world. She's fine. She's an absolutely fine player. Someone offered her $900K. Both Lexi Hull is at worst an equivalent to Naz Hillman. And like, I might be a bit harsh on Lexi Hull by saying an equivalent. I think Lexi might be better. I think Sophie Cunningham's definitely better than Naz Hillman. I think Lexi Hull's probably better than Hillman. And Sophie's definitely better. A team offered her a 3-year, $900K a year contract. And I understand fours to shoot the ball are at a premium. Like, I understand they are at a premium. I'm not going to pretend that they're not. And, well, so are wings. So, like, if we're looking here at Hillman versus, if we're looking at Hillman versus those, you would have to assume that the money that they're going to get, it's a very different thing with a small point guard. There's an abundance of small guards, and teams don't like to pay small guards. They don't like to pay their backup guards. But wings and potential starters, like, they're not in any way going to be cheap. And you've then got a Naz Hillman here who is making this much money. So, look, I don't see Sophie not getting an $800K. Any team that's willing to offer Naz Hillman a 3-year, $900K a year deal, like, why would they not offer one of Sophie or Lexi a 2-year, $900K a year? And for people saying, oh, they know how much money they're making because of the Fever. Like, they're making more money because of the Fever. Absolutely. But, like, Sophie's not going to just randomly lose endorsements by not playing for Indiana anymore. They're not just going to vanish. And also, like, she's not going to lose $400K a year by not being in Indiana. It's as simple as that. And the Fever can match about 500k. And also, Lexi Hull is taking free agency meetings. She didn't sign the qualifying offer. If Lexi Hull wanted to take, if she didn't want to test what she's worth, and by the way, like the Fever have to match whatever it is for Lexi Hull. The Fever can't match 900k for Lexi Hull. And I'm sorry, if Naz Hillman's getting offered 900k, there's no way that Lexi Hull is getting offered 1 cent less than 750k, which I don't know if the Fever can afford. And there's no way Sophie, let's be real, like, you have to match whatever it is for Lexi. And Sophie might take 200k less. She won't take 400 or 500k less. It's one of those things, again, with Sophie, where I think she's smart enough to take a hometown discount, but not that much of a hometown discount. Not like 300-400k of a hometown discount. Like, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. I don't think people realize just how much money that is. And she's talking about wanting to buy a house and everything. She's talking about like wanting to get paid. She's wanting a long-term deal. She's talking about all of this stuff. And the Fever, first of all, the Fever can't offer her a long-term deal for major money. They can't offer her a high salary. Unless, of course, again, they just don't want a power forward. And they have to sign 2. They need a backup. Their big flaw was the power forward. If you want to say play Sophie a power forward, we saw how badly that went last year. Because Aaliyah Boston is 6'3". I don't care what her height says, she's 6'3". Aaliyah Boston is a 6'3" center. She is one of the, thank God she's now one of the fastest centers, but like her and Bree Jones are about the same height. She is one of the smallest centers in the W. You need an Nazare type player at power forward. And I don't know if you're going to get an Nazare type player at power forward. Like, it's going to be hard to find. Because and by the way, there's a lot of good wings overseas. There's a lot of good guards. There's a lot of good guards overseas. There's no good stretch fours overseas. Like, you're not just going to find a stretch four. Like, Kat Westbeld was probably the best of them. Like, you're not going to find a player like that now, because most of them were taken, because that position is a unicorn. And even in college, like, there's none in this year's draft. I don't think there's any in next year's draft. Like, I'm looking at college, like, I don't think Marta Suarez is going to be a long-term stretch four. I don't think Justine Pislet's going to be a long-term stretch four. I don't think Douglas shoots the 3-ball well enough. Like, it's a really, really tough thing. And I think it's going to be one of those things where you're just going to have to turn people into stretch fours. And I don't think that Michaela Timpson has the IQ for it, despite the fact that I do think that Michaela Timpson has the athleticism. But still, I don't see how the Indiana Fever are going to find a way to afford Sophie Cunningham, because I think the difference between what they're able to pay Sophie Cunningham versus what I think she's going to be offered is a crazy difference. And not only that with Sophie is a lot of people don't realize, like, or not even a lot of people. I'm pretty sure, I've heard this from a few people, that she said she was going to release a podcast today and then didn't. She said she was going to release a podcast, ended up not releasing the podcast. And yeah, that's not an ideal sign, because if you're not releasing a podcast and you say you are, we're looking at it and it's like, oh no. That's the way we got to look at it. It's like, oh God, maybe it was I'm re-signing with the Fever podcast, but maybe some things came up in free agency that the Fever didn't expect. Maybe Ty Harris wanted a little bit more. Maybe they had an agreement with Kelsey Mitchell, because from what I've heard, 24 hours ago, Kelsey Mitchell was not a guarantee. From what I had heard. Not like that they were still negotiating with Kelsey Mitchell 24 hours ago. So, look, we're in an interesting situation there, if that is the truth. But, yeah, I think it'll be very difficult for the Fever to keep Sophie. So anyway, yeah, that's the video. See you guys.